students, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much. And now I request all of you, please keep your microphone off.
Yes, sir.
During the presentation. So basically today we will talk about chemistry and its future scope. So before that, I would like to start with my own journey. So you may get some important points out of that. So basically you may thinking like how I become a scientist or how I become like a researcher during my educational process. So basically when I was Dhule district, which is one of the remote district in Maharashtra. So my family background was not that much strong. So my father's salary was around 4,000 for around 14 years. Then it was 18,000, and I was having 3 sisters. So one of the basic idea in my mind was I should join job as soon as I complete my education. So money was the important factor when I started my education. And in many middle class families or at many rural areas, that is the main issue. Like whenever we are starting our education, main aim is we should get job as early as possible. So then my father said, so I'm trying to make it little bit movie kind of thing so that you should not feel bored, and we will go into the detailed scientific discussion at later stage of this presentation. So जो काम दुनिया को नामुमकिन लगे वही मौका होता है करतब दिखाने का. So जब समय आएगा तो सबसे लंबा और सबसे बड़ा छलांग हम ही लगाएंगे. So I don't believe in destiny, I believe in me, and which made me what I am today. So I started basically my education mostly in Dhule district. So if you see, I did my B.Sc, and along with B.Sc, I have done diploma in medical laboratory technology. The purpose for doing this course was I should get job as soon as I finish my B.Sc, so I can work in hospital as a assistant for the medical laboratory and so on. However, somehow I was not able to get that job as well. So then I decided, okay, I will work somewhere. So I work in share market. So my first salary was 1,500 rupees in Dhule district in a share fund, which is famous share market broker. However, this knowledge which I got here in B.Sc helped me during my postdoctoral research, okay, because here I learned more about microbiology, more about human anatomy and physiology, and more about biology. So this concept helped me when I was working on artificial metal enzymes, which is more relevant to chemistry and biology. So my suggestion is, whenever you have time, and if you feel you can do the part-time courses, please try to do it, and these courses will definitely help you for your future career. Then I did my M.Sc in organic chemistry at Ahmednagar College. So while doing job, I have attended similar kind of lecture from my seniors, and during that lecture I got an idea, if I do the education I may get more salary. So that was the first motivation, because my financial background was like that. So after entering into the good institutes, generally you get motivation for higher research, higher study and so on, and you are like whatever you are feeling at that stage, the thinking may change slowly. So at this college, which was very famous for industrial kind of work and also for practicals and everything, I got a lot of exposure while interacting with seniors, and thereafter I joined as a research associate in medicinal chemistry department in Piramal Life Sciences, which was in Mumbai. And then I realized importance of the Ph.D. for doing my next career. And after that, I got admission in Institute of Chemical Technology. There was an entrance exam during that time as well. So I cleared that exam and I got admission with Professor B.M. Bhange. And here I did work on transition metal catalysis, CC and CN bond forming reaction. So during this PhD, I also done postgraduate diploma in chemical technology management. So you can see that with DMLT, along with I have done postgraduate diploma in chemical technology management. So this kind of added courses which are relevant to your current stream will be helpful to improve yourself as well as to improve your biodata and CV. So this is very important. Whenever you have enough time, please put some effort to learn something new. So thereafter, I joined as a scientist in R&D in Huntsman International. So if you see, my journey started to get some salary to support my family, and then slowly I realized how much money I need, maybe like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, something like that. But what after that? What I will be doing after getting that money, after achieving that target? So then you realize what is your next ambition for your life. Because money is a secondary thing. Definitely in your education you will get money, and it's up to you how much money you want to earn. So money is just a number for those who have knowledge and expertise in their field. So that I learned during my overall process. So thereafter, I decided मैं उड़ना चाहता हूँ, दौड़ना चाहता हूँ, गिरना भी चाहता हूँ, बस रुकना नहीं चाहता. So just try something different. So my suggestion, those who are in PhD or about to plan for their PhD, whenever you are planning for postdoctoral research, do not carry forward the same area where you did your PhD. Do not extend the same research area. Try to learn a new skills. Not totally in different area, but at least in an area which is more relevant to you, so that you can contribute in new area and also you can learn a new skills. So then I decided to join postdoctoral research, and here I work with Professor York Pinger on asymmetric catalysis using artificial metal enzyme. And then after this, I moved to Professor Naori's laboratory, and I also worked with Professor Susumu Saito in Nagoya University, Japan, particularly on organocatalysis for amide and peptide synthesis, and as well as for hydrogenation reaction. Then after doing a lot of research in basic sciences or maybe basic kind of R&D research, I was interested how this research I can apply for industry. So that's the reason I moved to Professor Mathis Beller, because his group is quite famous for industrial research. So there I work on catalysis for energy area. I will explain in my next slide what work I have done. And then after spending around 5 to 6 years abroad, I realized that getting a money or getting a job is not a big thing. I can get anywhere easily. However, I want to do something for my country. I want to contribute whatever knowledge I got through my journey for my nation, and where I can do that. So there were a few options. So I started my application, and then I got first DST Inspire faculty position, and I joined as assistant professor in IIT Dhanbad. And then after having this stable position, not stable actually, it was for 5 years, I utilized this opportunity to attend various interviews, and I appeared almost like more than 10 interviews at different IITs, CSIR labs, and I got selected as a scientist in National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. So overall journey, if you can see, money is not a matter. Like once you have the achievements, once you have the target, so money is a secondary thing. And then what are your future ambitions? What you would like to do, for what, for whom? These things are very important. So whenever you plan your journey, plan in such a way that what will be your future ambition in next 5 to 10 years after achieving your next goal. So winner is not one who never fails, but the one who never quits. So overall journey looks very smooth. I did master's, bachelor, postdoc, PhD, and then I got a job. But however, there were many failures involved. As I mentioned, I got DST Inspire Faculty Award. This was not in the first attempt. I got this in the 6th attempt. So I failed for 5 times. Then I realized how I can improve my proposal, how I can improve my presentation. So whenever you have failure anywhere, so always take it positively and learn what are the negative points currently affecting in your CV or in your curriculum or in your presentation, and improve those things and try to build from these negative points. So I will go to the next slide. Now my goal is mostly develop new technology, new processes for chemical industry, and also to contribute for our nation by participating in mission mode project. So as we said, like since childhood, हर बच्चे की एक अपनी खूबी होती है, अपनी काबिलियत होती है और अपनी एक चाहत होती है. So when I was in my college, so my aims were different. I was best dancer of my college, I was best actor, and apart from that I was interested in yoga, bodybuilding. Along with that, I was very active in National Service Scheme. But during this time, I was also first in talent search exam in chemistry. I was not like very extraordinary student. I was like normal student, but I got first prize in college. So that was one of the turning point for me to decide chemistry in my final year. So I got many awards during my college. So my suggestion is you should have passion for at least one sport or one cultural activity, particularly for those who are in their bachelor and masters. So this extracurricular activity will help you to develop communication skill, presentation skill, and stage reading, which are very important point for your long time career journey. Because once you are become a scientist or researcher, you have to present your presentation in front of audience. For that you need a stage reading. You need a communication skill to speak with your supervisor, speak with your friends, how you should change your toning when you are speaking with some elders or so on. So for that, all these curricular activities, sports activity will definitely help you to build your personality. So these are very helpful for your next career and academic goal. So as I said, I also got postgraduate diploma, which was a turning point for me to learn financial aspect of chemistry. So here, how industry work, what points we should consider, and so on. And then I also got Best Thesis Award based on my overall contribution in my PhD. Then some conferences which I attended, I got Young Scientist Award in by Indian Chemical Society in one of the conference. then at Nainital, and some oral presentation like awards. And apart from that, most prestigious was for me the field station by my college, where I started my journey. And based on my overall journey and contribution for science communication and I also started one NGO. Because of overall these things, I got selected as a DAD research ambassador for 2018 to 2022. So here my role will be to promote exchange between Germany and India at institute level, as well as to promote students. So during this overall process, many news appear at my hometown. So through my teachers, through my friends and so on. So generally when you are achieving many things, this news doesn't matter to you. But however, when somebody is coming to your parents and saying, okay, your kids' news appear in so and so newspaper, they will feel motivated. They will feel really actually good. So that is the actual satisfactory point for your career, that you will realize you did something good for yourself, as well as for encouraging other people in your family and surrounding. So as I said, I started my research journey with Professor B.M. Bhange's research group. He was the first mentor where I did my chemistry career in transition metal catalysis coupling reaction. Why I selected this topic? Because when I was working in pharma industry, we were developing many molecules for anti-inflammatory purpose. Generally, we call it new chemical entities. And then we come across, if we use Sonoga-Shira coupling, we can do the same reaction just in a one step. However, if you do a normal way, we have to do at least 3 to 4 steps. Overall yield was very less. But when we use Sonoga-Shira, it was almost like a pure compound and almost more than 80% yield. So then I decided I would like to do PhD in that particular area. And here I work on different coupling reactions. So those who are already in master, they can understand coordination chemistry, coupling reactions, and so on. So whenever aryl halides are coupled with any other reagent, there are different coupling reactions. So aryl halide with zinc, it's a Negeshi. With aryl halide with tin reagent, it's a steel. Aryl halides with boronic acid, it's a Suzuki. So on. So during my PhD, I work on carbonylation, where we can use carbon monoxide, which is a C1 source for making valuable chemicals. Then we have developed homogeneous recyclable Higg coupling reaction, and then iron we tested whether it can catalyze reaction or not. And then also we work on cyanide-free cyanation. So generally, instead of metal cyanide, we use a simple approach using CH activation. After working on transition metal catalysis, my idea was, can I explore another area of catalysis? And then I moved to Professor York Pinger's group in KAUST, Saudi Arabia. So here you can see this is overall view of this KAUST, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. And here I got an opportunity to interact with multinational group. So whenever you have opportunity to do research internship or something abroad, this will help you to build your self-confidence as well as to interact with people from different backgrounds. And this is the overall view of laboratory. Am I audible? Anybody from the audience?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Please switch off now your microphones. Thanks. So this is overall view of King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, where I did my postdoctoral research in artificial metal enzymes. So what is meant by artificial metal enzymes? Hello? Just a moment. So artificial metal enzymes are nothing but like we have hemoglobin in our body. Am I audible? There was some issue with connection.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. So artificial metal enzymes are nothing but, you can imagine hemoglobin, which is having iron as a metal part, and heme, we call heme because of iron, and then globin as a protein part. So similarly, in artificial metal enzyme, what we do, we try to modify the enzymes or protein which you obtain from the bacteria or maybe from other source, and selectively we are trying to create a chiral pocket which we can use for asymmetric synthesis. So here, this is a new area of catalysis or chemistry, you can assume. Here the restrictions are, we have to use always water as a solvent. And particularly we have to use buffer condition because proteins are stable in buffer. And then by modifying the protein, so this is multidisciplinary approach or collaborative approach. So we need organic chemist, catalysis chemist, then biochemist, then crystallographer, and along with that we need at least different skill sets to do this particular project. So here I learned how to do collaborative work, and then we develop new artificial metal enzymes for making 2G toast and Diels-Alder reaction selectively. And there are many applications of this particular work in near future. So after learning about artificial metal enzymes, I have decided, okay, now I will learn some different areas. So I was interested in actually in hydrogenation. So that's the reason and motivation I applied for JSPS fellowship in Professor Nayuri's laboratory. And he's also like, if you consider, if you know the Professor C.N.R. Rao in India, was a prime ministerial secretary. So similarly in Japan, Professor Nayuri was secretary for Japan Science and Technology that time. And I got the opportunity to work in his group. So I was working with Professor Susumu Saito in his group, and along with developing some new ligands for hydrogenation, we also work on synthesis of different amides and peptides using organocatalyst. So this is overall view of laboratory when I was working. This is from Tokyo, and you can see the Nobel Prize of Professor Nayuri. This is located on second floor of the RCMS building, Research Center for Material, and I had opportunity quite a few times to interact with him personally along with family. So really this was like totally different culture. It was almost like a cultural shift when you move from India to Saudi Arabia, then Saudi Arabia totally to the Japan. So you learn a lot of new things personally as well. So whenever you have opportunity, my suggestion is during your curriculum for internship or for a higher education, at least try to visit 2 to 3 different countries. So I had opportunity to invite my parents as well in Japan. So that was like big moment for my parents as well. This was the first abroad visit. And during my journey, I work on synthesis of various ligands as well as synthesis of organocatalyst for amide and peptide synthesis. So first of all, we check whichever commercially available boronic acid. So previously people reported many boronic acid. However, here nobody reported that time diboron as a catalyst. So we consider, because in mechanism it was appeared that always there is some correlation of diboron. So while checking this particular reactivity, we found that we can get easily number of amides in a mild reaction condition. So as a B.Sc or master student, if you consider this reaction, it's a simple. You mix acid and amine and you get amide. But in reality, what will happen? You might have done your acid-base separation and something like that. So amine is a base and this is carboxylic acid. As soon as you mix, you get carboxylate salt. And then to get amide, either you need very high temperature, more than 200 degrees Celsius, or you need some activating reagent or activating agents. So you can make some activation and then this amidation will happen, but you generate stoichiometric amount of waste. However, using this approach, just by this particular mechanism, you can see in Orglet paper, detail and about description, simply with 1 or 2 mole% of diboron, which is commercially available, you can make number of amides, and this protocol can be applicable for polymer synthesis where you can make various polyamide based kind of polymers. So after working on organocatalysis and also developing some ligand for hydrogenation, so my next plan was, can I do some chemistry which can be applicable for industry? And then I moved to Professor Matthias Beller group in Lake, Germany. So this is the overall view of a few places in Rostock particularly. So here my topic was catalysis for energy. So as already you might have heard in one of the lecture about how this fuel generating a lot of carbon dioxide, and day by day this oil going to deplete. So what are the alternatives available? So there are many other options people are trying. So one of the approaches can be use hydrogen as a fuel, and this hydrogen we can get from non-renewable sources, maybe from sunlight, by solar panels and so on. So photocatalytic or electrocatalytic splitting of water. So you can get hydrogen, and then this hydrogen you can use for hydrogenation of carbon dioxide. And how you will get the CO2? So people are also doing a lot of research how we can trap atmospheric CO2, maybe by using metal organic frameworks or for other approaches, or maybe by polymers and so on. So by combining these two approaches, you can get easily formic acid. Okay, so my project was based on how we can do the dehydrogenation of formic acid to get a hydrogen. If you do further hydrogenation, you may get methanol, methane and so on. So however, target was, can we use economical metal? Because when we are trying to make it economical process, we need to consider money as a factor as well as safety as a factor. So hydrogen as a fuel is already been used by Toyota cars. They have launched Mirai car in US. So if you see this Mirai car, it having a cylinder of hydrogen, but in case of accident or something may happen, so this hydrogen cylinder may blast like a bomb. So what are the alternatives? So if you use formic acid, then only at the required time you can generate the limited amount of hydrogen. In case of accident or something, you will be having formic acid. And then what is the beauty of formic acid? It's a liquid. It's just very slightly toxic, not that much toxic. It's not flammable. That's important point. And also it contains more amount of hydrogen storage capacity, and there is no generation of other waste like other kind of gases. So main idea was, instead of getting like CO, we should selectively get hydrogen and CO2 out of this reaction. So I was working on alternative to the cobalt catalyst. So this was one of the projects. So during this overall journey, I have attended many conferences. So maybe within Germany, Japan, Saudi Arabia, or within India as well. So when I started attending my first conference, I was considering all the scientists like a hero, like from the curriculum, from research, and as a celebrity. So I was hesitated to interact with them during my first 2-3 conferences. Then I realized I should go and interact and talk with scientists. So this will help me like to build my confidence, and also maybe if there is any possibility I can get some offer to work with them. So during such conference, particularly with discussion with Professor Matthias Beller, he suggested, okay, while looking at your presentation, I have attended, can you try for Humboldt with me? So that's what the best point for me to interact with him, and I got opportunity. And even my Humboldt application was not successful, but he offered me after that his own institute fellowship for doing postdoc. Similarly, in Nurse Laboratory, same thing happened. I attended one of the conference, and during that conference, this discussion helped me to get the position. So my suggestion to the all masters, PhD students, or even for bachelor, whenever you are attending conference, do not hesitate to ask a question to the speaker. At the same time, also you should interact with the speaker after the discussion. So that will help you to know about the person, and also that in future it may happen that you may get some opportunity to work with that particular faculty. And one of my dream was to meet somewhere who invented this like Watson and Crick model of DNA. So I had opportunity to meet Professor James Watson during one of the such conference. After that, I moved back to India, deciding that I may get job in industry or maybe somewhere abroad. However, I'm more interested now to contribute my research skills for our country. So that was one of the motivation. Then I moved back as a DST Inspire faculty in IIT Dhanbad. There I work as assistant professor. Mostly I was involved in teaching, and I was planning to establish laboratory as well. However, meanwhile I got selected for scientist position in NCL, and recently in 2019 I joined here, and I'm in process to establish my group. So कामयाबी के पीछे मत भागो, काबिल बनो. Rest of the things you know from this movie. So whenever you do some journey, ultimately you will make your parents proud. So do something in your career that your parents should feel proud of you. Overall journey, if you see from India, Saudi, Japan, Germany, so far whatever it is, started with the basic concept I should earn some more money because I'm having financial problem during my college days. But then I realized money is not a factor. I can achieve it anytime. But what are my future goals? What I supposed to do in my career? Where I am to devote my work, because you can work in industry, you can work in academic, there are many options. So I have decided, okay, I will work somewhere where I can contribute for our nation, and at the same time I can do something for our country. So that is the reason I went here. And along with that, when I was doing my bachelor master, I was not knowing answer for many questions, how to do PhD, and then what are the future scopes, and what are the fellowships, and so on. That's the reason I started this NGO. Mostly we are working in rural areas. Also we are conducting online seminars, online lectures at various colleges. And from next year onwards, we are also having plan to start a research training center with the help of college at least one center at each district. So this plan is under process. So important point is, if you have talent, if you have everything, you can achieve your target. So आज राजा का बेटा राजा नहीं बनेगा, राजा वही बनेगा जो हकदार होगा. So if you have talent, if you have capability, you can do anything. So this is the intermission for my story. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes,
I hope you might have. Thank you. So please now switch off your microphones. So I hope you might have noted down few points. For example, whenever you have time, you should try to get some additional qualification. Whenever you attend conference, please interact with the conference speakers, And then whenever you get opportunity to try to do your like next research journey, at least in 1 or 2 different countries. The scientist. A scientist is a person who do the experiments in order to learn. So where do scientists works? So there are plenty of different types of scientists based on their branch. Like if you work in chemistry, you are a chemist. If you work as a biological sciences, you are working as a biologist, and so on. So here mostly we will focus on as a chemistry. Okay, what are the future scope for chemistry? So we have a lot of ideas in mind that if you are working in like big institute, then only we can do the science. But it's not a true story. You may find that there are some good college teachers always like having some very good qualification, very good publication. They work abroad, they work within India at big institute. However, they prefer to join a college so that they can contribute from the basic grassroots level. So even research is possible at college level, and DST is nowadays encouraging many schemes to encourage colleges to establish their research center and also to collaborate between these colleges with the big institutes like IIT and CSIR laboratories. So always whenever you are in your college, please try to find out who is having this capability of doing research and so on. Definitely you'll be having some faculty who is well recognized as a research supervisor and so on. Only problem in some time, there is an issue with the analytical instruments or maybe some facility, but however concept wise research is possible even at college level, institute level, at state university. And apart from university, many industries, they are also doing research and development. However, their research is limited to their product. So if pharma, they will work basically strictly on that particular product. Suppose if they are working on diabetes, their research will focus on anti-diabetic molecule. If they are working on anti-inflammatory, then they will do some research on anti-inflammatory, similarly in pens and so on. So industry, they also have R&D, and this is also one of the good place for doing application-based research. And then in government research laboratory like CSIR, DAE, and even if you can consider some IIT, ISERS and other government laboratories, here you have work freedom to collaborate with industry to develop some technology at the same time to do the basic research, and as well as you can do some application-based research individually as well. And here you don't have that restrictions of working in particular area. You can select area as per your institute's target. Then there are some private research groups also available who support such kind of funding. So for example, Tata Foundation within India and abroad also there are many such research specialists, interesting group like Humboldt Foundation and so on. So they also fund for particularly for carrying out research at different places. So as a chemist, you might be interested how exactly this chemical laboratory look like. So you might have worked in your M.Sc in practicals. Just a moment, I will take some water. Okay, thank you. So as a chemist, mostly in B.Sc and M.Sc, what we do most of the reaction on bench. However, there is a reason for that. First is issue with the availability of all this sophisticated equipment for such a large student scale like 100 or 50 or so on. However, these practicals are already optimized in a such a way they should limit the side effect of this chemical and so on. So these practicals are already selected in a such a way that you should get your result as soon as possible, minimize the harmful effect of the chemicals and so on. But whenever you are working actual research laboratory, you have to take care of many safety things. And you already heard one of the talk about what safety precaution you can take. So generally, mostly in research laboratory, we perform all reaction in fume hood. If you see right side top picture, it's a fume hood. And here we have hot plates, and along with that, we have Schlenk line tube techniques. So if you're working with the compound which is air or maybe moisture sensitive, we have to use Schlenk line. And if it's extra sensitive, then we have to use glow boxes. At the top bottom, you can see the glow boxes. So setup is very simple. It's like fume hood, but only it's a closed chamber. It is having nitrogen or argon as a gas. And in Schlenk line, you have nitrogen, argon along with vacuum. So you remove air using vacuum, and then you insert nitrogen or argon into that tube or flask, and then you carry out the reaction. And for normal reaction, you can do just by heating and so on. So along with doing reaction, you have number of chemicals. So as soon as I start laboratory, I may be having 5, 10, 20, 100, and slowly then this number will go increase and increase and increase. So that's why we have to take care of segregation of chemicals. We should not mix acid base together. So storage should be in a scientific manner. So for that also in many laboratories, they are having like specific softwares, or maybe sometimes they might be using simple way to maintain this data. So once you have number of chemicals, it's also difficult to locate that particular chemical. So, like management of the chemicals as well as storage of the chemical is also very important in chemical laboratory. This is overall view of the chemical lab. I would like to request those, in case if your microphone is on, please switch off it. And along with that, what we need most of the cases gases. For example, most of the time we need nitrogen or maybe argon. If you are working on hydrogenation or carbon monoxide gas and so on, then you need extra safety precaution and other gases. So before handling any chemicals, before handling any gas, you should know what are the risks involved, how to deal with that risk and how to use it safely. And along with this setup, we also need some important equipment, for example, balance. On daily basis, whenever you do any reaction, you have to weigh your compound. And along with balance, there are few other instruments, depend on your research area may vary. So for example, rotary evaporator, as soon as you do the reaction to remove the solvent, you need rotary evaporator. And once you have your compound, next point is to identify whether whatever compound you got, it's a pure or not. So basically we use TLC at the early stage, then to quantification or to check exactly how much is the conversion, how much the yield. So we use GC if the compound is like having boiling point less than 350 degrees Celsius. It is having like already reported that it can come on GC, mostly like small molecular weight compound. But if it's a big compound, something like that, we can use HPLC. And then after that, once we identify, okay, conversion and compound is there, we got the yield, and then next we can purify this compound by column chromatography or maybe by other techniques. And along with that, you may find that there are some other instruments like FTIR, melting point, boiling point apparatus, then microwave apparatus. So this is the basic set of any organic synthesis or catalysis for organic chemistry laboratory. And depend on the research area, these instruments may vary. So before starting any research, you should know what kind of instruments I will need for my project and where these are located. If you don't know the basics, start like learning basic for that instrument from theory, then a standard operating procedure for that one, how to prepare a sample, how to analyze that particular data. All these points are very important when you start your research. We already know many famous scientists in the world, and they are very well known because of their contribution in research, and that research was converted from like basic concept to the product, or maybe basic concept which were utilized somewhere to understand the important points. So Sir Isaac Newton proposed law of gravity, Thomas Edison for many invention, then Albert Einstein, already we know his contribution in many other areas along with theory of relativity, then Alexander Graham Bell, James Watson for DNA model. And also, if you know, already there are many Indian famous scientists as well. Most of the time, we know many top scientists from abroad. However, we forgot that even India has a great contribution in science and technology. And if you see, there are a number of scientists who contributed, particularly in chemistry. Professor Praful Chandra Ray, he was the first pioneer for the pharmaceutical company in India. Then Dr. Salim Ali, Professor Srinivas Ramanujan, Professor C.V. Raman, Professor Bhabha, and so on. So there are a young number of scientists who contributed greatly to do some research as well as to do contribution for our country. And that's the reason whatever institute, whatever work, what we are doing today, it's because of this tradition. So can scientist, okay, so can student be a scientist, sorry. So generally whenever we think that to become a scientist, we have to achieve some milestone, but it may be true. But at the same time, if you see most of the time when PhD students are working in lab, postdocs are working in lab, they are also contributing a lot for developing a new science, and basically they are the main source. So guides are there to guide them in a particular area, but at the same time, whatever work we are doing genuinely in laboratory is responsible for this advancement in science. So yes, definitely student can be a scientist. Oh, so there are many ways. So now we will see the actual presentation, chemistry and futures. So be there, it may take maybe around 1 hour more. Okay, is it fine or? Is
Fine,
it
sir.
fine?
Yes, yes, sir, it is fine, sir.
Thank you. So because now actual presentation will start. So those who already completed B.Sc, after B.Sc you have two options, either to join a job or to go for a master study. So those who have some financial responsibility or maybe some issues or something like that, they can go for industry job, academic job, government job or competitive exams. Even like state level, on national level, whereas UPSC, they conduct some exam based on graduation. However, if you feel that I'm not interested in chemistry, I don't like to work in lab or I don't like chemistry, so this is the best way you can change your interest, either MBA or some other patent course or something you can do, but you should not then go to the master degree. However, if you are really like chemistry, if you are interested to do higher education, then the next option is yours, M.Sc. You should go for organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, drug chemistry, polymer chemistry, and nowadays many new branches are coming like nanochemistry, even green chemistry technology, and many other courses are coming in M.Sc. So you can decide as per your interest. And during your M.Sc, your target should be to qualify national eligibility tests or state eligibility tests, get, and if you become a gold medalist, then you can apply for DST Inspire Fellowship for your next career as well. So after master, again, you have many opportunities to do job in industry, academic or government. And also we will see in next slide what kind of jobs you can do and so on. So don't confuse here. There are many jobs available. And then again, if you qualify NET GRF, any entrance exam or even PET, PhD aptitude test, then you can apply for PhD admission. And during PhD, your focus will be to get good research publication, to get scientific presentation awards and so on. And based on that, then you can target whether I am interested to now continue in industry job or I would like to join academic or government job. So my suggestion is generally those who are interested in industry from the day one of the PhD, so they should not spend, it's my personal opinion, okay, they should not spend more than 1 year in postdoc. So as soon as they complete their PhD, up to 1 year postdoc abroad or within India to get new skills is okay, but then they should join industry as early as possible. For those who are interested in other government jobs, IIT, ISR, CSIR, they can spend up to 2 to 3 years in postdoctoral research and gain a new experience. So here target will be the research publication experience awards. So generally if you see overall, always you have an option for jobs. However, higher degree, higher payment and higher position. So this we are talking about at initial phase. It may happen that later stage you will find that your company boss is a master degree holder. So this is based on their performance in an industry. Okay, but however initially and in most of the cases higher degree, higher payment and higher position. But it comes with more responsibility. Okay, so that you never forget in your life. So you will get better life if you have good education. So along with education, there are few important points generally we ignore when we are doing our studies because we think that, okay, we may get these are normal things, we can get anywhere whenever we need it. So for example, documents. So passport is nowadays, it's almost like your Aadhaar card. You should have your passport as soon as you start your bachelor or master degree because as soon as, even if you work in industry, you may get suddenly an opportunity to go to the other plant in Switzerland or maybe in Germany, in the US, and at that point you need your passport should be ready. And generally it takes at least 1 or 2 months. If you have any issue with police or there might be pending case, something might be that, and it may take more time. So make sure that as soon as you start your education, you should apply for the passport. Generally validity is up to 10 years, so there is no harm in having a passport. And even if you're a master's student or PhD, you may get opportunity to go abroad as a research intern. Even if you're doing PhD in India, you can apply outside for a research internship if your guide is ready. So along with that, you can do PhD postdoc abroad. For that, passport is very important. And driving license for 4-wheelers. Generally, we feel that, okay, it's a luxury. We don't need 4-wheeler right now. Maybe once I start earning, I will get it. However, suddenly what may happen if you go outside, in some countries, public transportation is not that much good. Even in US, some of my friends, those who are not having the 4-wheeler, they have to buy the 4-wheeler after going US because public transportation is not that much convenient. However, if you go to Japan, it's very good. Within India, also public transportation is very good. But in some countries, it's not there. And for that, you need to know how to drive the 4-wheeler. So therefore, you should have this driving license and you should try to learn the skills when you are in your bachelor master degree. Then like you should apply for all the government like PAN card, Aadhaar card, voter ID, all the documents should be ready. So it should not happen that you are already in master in somewhere in another state and suddenly you need some document and then you start application and you have to come back to your hometown. Okay, whenever you are starting your journey, you should have all these basic documents ready. Next point is bank. As soon as you leave your home, you will need a money somewhere maybe for your friend, maybe for your fees, somewhere for yourself. So for that, you should understand the banking system, at least basics of banking. So there are many videos available. You can easily watch and you can understand these things, like what is the difference between saving current and NRE account. If you go outside for a long time, you have to open an NRE account. And then you should also understand what is the difference between debit card and credit card, how I can get all these cards, what is the use of these cards, and so on. And then the important point is how to use internet banking, how I can add my friend's account into my account, and how I can transfer the money, what are the different way of transaction like RTGS, NEFT, and so on. So for example, this case may think like very minor, but as soon as you decide to go away from home, these are all the basic points you have to take care of. Then the next important point is scan copies. Suddenly you may need some mark sheet, certificates or document to apply for fellowship, or maybe to apply for some higher degree, or to even to get a job to verify your documents. So in that case, at least you should have one folder of all the documents, and you should store this folder at least at 2 to 3 different online sources, like on your Gmail, on Google Drive, on Dropbox. At the same time, you should also have in your USB or computer. So this is very important. Then the next point, which I came across throughout my career, email writing, or maybe having an email ID. Most of the time, till today, I'm getting application from the bachelor master student for projects, and sometimes most of the email IDs are very funny. Okay, rockstar@gmail.com, or maybe 1234@gmail.com, something like that. So whenever you are applying for any official purpose, you can use this kind of email ID for communicating with your friends, family. It's fine. But whenever you are applying for any official purpose, maybe in academic or in industry, you should have a proper way, official email ID, like your name, maybe your birth year is okay, or something which is more official. Okay. And you should know how to write a proper email for industry and academics. Most of the time, students are sending their CV, I'm interested to join your group. That's it. So whenever you are applying in academics, you should mention, okay, I have visited your website, I have seen your publication, I'm interested in so and so research area, and I have done some research or internship in that area if you have done it really. And then you should speak about yourself. Okay, so first few lines about why you are interested in that group, what work they are doing, and so on. However, when you are writing for industry, your email will be different. You will mention about what are your skill set, what kind of reactions you have done, and so on. So something like that. So you should understand how to write proper email for industry and academics. And at this stage, if you have a habit to maintain your blog or maintain your website, it will definitely help you in the near future. Even you can just send a link of that particular website, so it will be easy for your mentor to know what exactly you are doing. And even in industry. So it's a good habit to have your own website and blog. And you should maintain 2 CVs, one for academic and one for industry. Academic, you will mention all your curriculum, activities, and so on. Industry, you will mention what kind of reaction you handle, up to what scale, which instrument you use, whether you have any training on that instrument, and something like that. So generally what we do, I have done 10th, I have distinction, I have done 12th, I have distinction, I have done B.Sc, I have first class, and then I have done master. So your CV is finished. However, there is a next candidate who has done 10th, second class, 12th, first class, then B.Sc, maybe first class, and M.Sc again around not so good, but he has done research internship, he has German language course, he has published 2 publications, he has some awards in credit. So whenever we think of these 2 CVs, generally you will give the preference to the candidate who is having overall experience in some cases. Okay, so therefore it is very important you should build your CV. So if you have both the things, merit as well as all these extracurricular activities, then you are at advantage point. So build your CV by doing internship, learn a new language, try to publish a paper when you are doing internship. If your professor is agree for that, then try to get some awards by attending conferences. It's not always you should focus on awards, but you should participate in competition like scientific lecturer competition, or maybe presenting your work in conference. And then there are some other important courses like intellectual property rights. Even there is a website WIPO, you can do the online courses. And if you feel that you need some managerial skill, you can do some part-time management courses, but this should be aligned with your mainstream. You should not do totally different in HR or some other areas, okay? Or maybe doing LLB or law or something like that. So whatever you do, make sure that this should be counted in your CV. It should not reflect that you are not having focus in your career. So this skill set should be in a such way that people should know, okay, you are always trying to earn new points or new credit in your CV. Internship. So my suggestion is always you should try to do internship. It's very important. Either you should do in industry and academic, because as soon as you finish your M.Sc, you get net GRF, and then you get confused exactly in which area I should do my Ph.D. If you have done organic, always you will say, okay, I want to do organic synthesis, but which kind of organic synthesis? We are doing organic synthesis in medicinal chemistry, we are doing organic synthesis in polymer chemistry, we are doing organic synthesis in material chemistry. So once you do the internship, at least 1 or 2, you will realize what are the different areas of research. So once you enter into one lab, you will be having friend in another lab, you will come to know different areas. So that's why internship is very important. And once you do 1 or 2 internship, your idea for PhD will be much clearer, or maybe for future research will be much clearer in which area I'm interested and what are the things I have to do for that particular work. So internships are very important. And then career goals. So decide your long-term target, what I will be doing after my master's and PhD, whether I will be interested in academic, industry, or I want to join some government laboratory through cracking UPSC or MPSC exam. So this you have to decide as early as possible. So that will help you to plan your career journey. And you should know how to write an email, as I'm repeating it again. So in oral summary, whenever you are applying somewhere, maybe for master, internship, for PhD, for postdoc, anywhere, so you should write good email. You should have a proper CV, then proper CV along with your all achievements and all the other extracurricular activities, not like the dance drama, but which are more relevant to that particular position. Then cover letter is important, because in email you cannot write everything. You can write maximum 2 paragraphs. Other information you can add in cover letter. Then research summary, and in case if there is a requirement of a research proposal, then only you can write a research proposal and submit it to the particular position. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So now we'll proceed, because sometimes I get confused because there is no noise. Okay. So now next point, which is very important after knowing about basic points about in general. So as a chemist, what are the basic skills you should have for your career in industry or academic? So computer knowledge, nowadays everybody know about the computer. However, whenever you are entering to lab, like every point of your career, you will be using MS Office for making presentation, for writing your manuscript, for writing something. And also you will be using Excel for doing some calculation, for making graphs and so on. So this is very important. You should know most of the things about the MS Office. Then internet use. Generally we use Google, but along with Google for a scientific search, we have search engines. Already in your library training lecture, you might have heard all these terms: Scopus, Scifinder, Reaxis. So even if you don't have the access for this Scifinder or Scopus, is fine, but there are many videos available on YouTube. So try to visit those links, learn more about this software. So as soon as you enter into lab, you will be familiar with how to use this particular kind of search engines. Then the language, the way I'm speaking, at least I'm a little bit 50% okay in English, but when I started my journey, even I was not able to speak full sentence in English, because my overall study was in Marathi medium, but I am not afraid that I have done my study. It helped me actually. But English is just a medium that we have to understand. It's an important medium, and whenever you are going for your next career, you should have at least good writing skills in English. Speaking you can learn slowly, and you should put some efforts to speak properly, at least in English. But don't worry if you don't have like that much fluency. Slowly during your career, you will definitely learn this language, but you have to put some efforts. Apart from English, the next is basic laboratory techniques. So generally when you are doing your practicals, at least you should know what are the names of this apparatus: beaker, round bottom flask, then hot plate, and there are many apparatus you are using during your practical. At the same time, when you enter into advanced laboratory, these glasswares will be same. So at least you should know name of this glassware. And along with that, there are some common techniques like thin layer chromatography. Always we will be using throughout your career if you're doing organic chemistry or some synthesis. And then column chromatography, those who are working in purification. So accordingly, if you're working in a material chemistry, you may need SEM, TM, TJ, DSC, all these other instruments. So my suggestion is, before starting any research work, you should know exactly which kind of instrument I will need for my particular research purpose, whether I know basics of this instrument, and then you should try to learn more basics, then how to use that instrument and so on. And basically in organic chemistry and many other way, you also need a characterization technique. So these instruments are also very important. If you know already how to handle this instrument, you are at advanced stage. Or during your curriculum, you might have already learned how to interpret NMR, how to interpret mass spectra. So this basic knowledge will be helpful for you during your research career as well. Whether you are working in industry, academic, or you are doing PhD postdoc, this overall knowledge will be required for throughout your career. Then the next more important, like most important point is personal protective equipments. So during bachelor and master, because of financial reason or maybe because of any other reason, we are not having that much seriousness about the PPEs. However, when you do actual research work, we have to follow the personal equipment protocol. Before entering, you should have your lab coat. If you're touching any chemical, you should have your hand gloves. And if you're handling any gas or if you're handling like silica or something like that, you should wear a proper mask designed for that particular purpose. And also always you should have eye goggles as soon as you enter into laboratory, even if you're not working. You should have eye goggles and lab coat, because if somebody is doing something and if an explosion happen, something happen, you should protect yourself. So personal protective equipments are very important, and whenever you go, please make sure that you use these personal protective equipments. And apart from that, there are some safety protocols which you have to follow during your whole career. Okay, so you should know which kind of fire extinguisher I should use if there is incidence of fire, if it's electrical fire, or maybe some, you might have already learned these things from one of the course or one of the talk. And then before handling any chemical, if that chemical is unknown, you should always ask your supervisor. Before that, you should always check MSDS, material safety data sheet of that chemical. Then you should also know how to store that chemical, how to segregate that chemical so that there will be no cross reaction between two chemicals. So these are very important points. And then most important is to maintain your data, to maintain your lab journal. We already had one lecture on this, how this data management is important and how it may affect if you not maintain it properly. I think Dr. Shashidhar sir has mentioned it very nicely. I have attended that lecture. So you have to follow all this protocol. And along with maintaining lab journal, again, you should maintain your folder as well, like for digital folders. Because whenever you are doing NMR, GC, or any characterization technique, you will get the original files. So these original files you have to store carefully along with your spectra. So this is very important. And then presentation and communication skill. So throughout your career, as soon as you go in industry, academic, or anywhere, you have to present your research, why it's important, how it's important, and you are the person who has to convince why your research is important. So therefore, presentation and communication skills are very, very important throughout your career. And how you can improve it? By participating in extracurricular activities at college level. So that's why I said your extracurricular activities will have more scientific impact on your career in next stages. Okay. So now we will go towards the more specific details. So what things you have to consider when you are in B.Sc. So those students who are already in B.Sc final year, second year somewhere, so you should understand your subject very well. Whether you are really interested in chemistry, what points are lagging behind, which subjects you do not understand. So make sure that you are clear with all the subjects of your B.Sc. Improve your practical skills. Most of the time we do practical skills because it's just like fun for us, or sometimes we get more marks in practical, but don't do like that. Put proper efforts to understand how to do the calculation, how to calculate particularly chemical equivalence, theoretical yield, and so on, and then how to match it, so that this practice will help you when you start your research. And during your B.Sc, if possible, please do internship at CSIR laboratories like NCL, NIRI. There are many CSIR labs, or many IITs, iSearch, DRC, or DAE laboratories, or even at university level, there are many good research groups. And in case if your college is recognized as a research center, you can even do the internship in your college. But you should do at least 1 or 2 internship if possible. Then next point is you should attend. Okay, attend, not present, but attend the conference in your institute or nearby institutes. So everywhere, even at college level, I myself, like I have attended almost like 5 to 10 conferences, which were motivation for me to do my next career during my M.Sc. So whenever you get an opportunity, always try to attend the conference. So you will come to know what are the recent research areas, in which area people are doing their work, how exactly they are presenting their work, and what are the novelty, how to highlight the novelty in presentation, and so on. So therefore, you should first attend the conferences at bachelor level. And then contact your senior friends and M.Sc, like those who are already doing M.Sc for M.Sc admission. Because generally each institute has different criteria. So for IITs, they conduct JAM exam. For ISER, they have joint MS PhD programs. So you should know exactly what will be the deadline, what is their curriculum, how you should prepare for this exam. And even at college level nowadays, they have individual entrance exam. So this is very important. At like B.Sc last year, before getting your result, you should be well prepared with this all exams, and you should know the deadline for that one. And always attend the trip which is for industry visit or research institute visit. This is very important. Generally, we attend too many trips in our bachelor or master. However, whenever there is industry trip, we think, okay, what we will learn, okay, just forget about it. Don't do like that. Industry visit and research institute visits are very important. Then only you will realize exactly what people are doing in these big institutes, or what kind of work is going in industry. So this might be motivation factor for your next career. And also search for the integrated MS PhD program. There are many programs available in ISIR, NIT, IITs, and even at some CSIR laboratories. So you should be well aware about this at B.Sc level. So my main suggestion is decide your specialization for MSc as per your interest and knowledge. For example, if your mathematics is very strong, if you are good in physics and you like physical chemistry, and if your friends are saying, okay, there is a lot of scope in medicinal chemistry, we have many pharma industry in India, you should do MSc in organic chemistry. Do not go with the flow. Decide by yourself with your interest. If you are interested in physical, go for physical. So always there is a scope for the person, not for the subject. Okay, if your basics are very strong, if you are good, definitely you will be having a lot of scope in your career. So decision should be based on your personal opinion and your personal knowledge about that subject, and not based on the current scenario, because current scenario may change in near future. And then those who are in MSc first year. So for first year, study all your first year subject very well. Particularly give importance for net set, GATE exam preparation. Study all basics, because in first year you study at least physical, inorganic, biochemistry, organic together. However, in second year, you will be having more focused subject about your specialization. But for net exam, you need to prepare for both. So therefore, preparing from first year itself, it's very important. Participate in scientific and lecture competition. At master level, at least you should participate in 1 or 2 conferences. And here again, I would like to repeat, you should must do internship during your MSc first year. At research laboratory, this will give an idea about your future target for research or industrial job or for PhD. Improve your presentation and communication skills. So at college level, there are many lectures, scientific lecture competition, poster competitions are organized. Many colleges or universities, they are conducting Avishkar competitions, or at different states, there might be some different competitions. So always participate in these competitions. And those who are interested to go abroad for PhD. So MSc first year is the best point to start preparation for GRE, TOEFL and IELTS exam. Those who are particularly interested in English speaking countries such as US, UK, Australia and so on. For others, if you are not able to get good score in GRE and TOEFL, or we're still interested to go abroad, so there are some different countries which may offer PhD program like Germany, France, even in Middle East there are some good institutes, then Singapore, Japan and so on. Some institutes still may require your English language test score. However, in many other institutes, you have to you can get the admission, but you have to qualify their language test for first year. Okay, so be prepared for that. And if you are really interested to go in that particular country, you can learn a new language during your master itself. So you can join any language program online, or maybe if it's available in your city, so you should try to learn German, French, Spanish, Arabic, whatever language you are interested. So this will be added advantage in your CV. At the same time, it may help you in near future. In MSc second year, decide your career goal. Now you should attempt. First year you should prepare. Now anyhow, even if you are prepared, not prepared, you should attempt for the net set GATE exam. And those who are interested for US, UK, they should attempt for GRE, TOEFL and IELTS. And now you should search for what are the programs available in India and abroad, and check what are the last deadlines for their application, what are the basic requirements for this application. Because most of the time, once we get the result for net exam, then we will start searching for this exam, we will apply and so on. So that in that case, you may be already little bit late of knowing the PhD program. So it's always suggested that you should be well prepared for this, your next target. If you're interested in industry, do the same thing. Like you should know about which kind of industry you would like to join, what are different R&Ds available within India, how you should apply and so on. Then search for the funding and fellowship opportunities for PhD. This is very important. That we will see in next slide. And you should must know, because now you have done the internship, you might have studied, you went through some videos. Now you should must know about the scientific software, search engines, Scopus, SciFinder, Reaxys, something like that. And you should must know about the literature search, how to find a journal, how to find a paper, how to read a paper, how to read a review, and so on. Because as soon as you get offer for PhD, for example, from abroad, then you may need to write a research proposal. And for that, you have to do the literature search, you have to read the paper. So make sure that you are very well prepared for this kind of next future plans. And after result, as per your target, even you can apply for job or PhD. But however, I will suggest you should try for both, because sometimes it may happen that you not got like shortlisted for PhD interview. So instead of wasting 1 year, you can join a job, get some experience. Or those who are already interested in PhD, instead of joining for job, they can go for project assistantship, so they can learn more about research. They may publish some paper, and these skills will be important for PhD. And those who want to do career in industry, they can straight away plan for the industry job. And as I said, internship is very important. Okay, again, I would like to emphasize on that point. And recently, SERB and DST, they have started many schemes to promote. Even science academies, they are having summer research internship fellowship programs. CSIR is having the summer research training program. And the reason is internship is very important to decide your future career goals and to strengthen your CV. Because through that only you will find out exactly what is the difference between organic chemistry, polymer chemistry, or maybe material chemistry, what kind of work you really like, and then in which area you should do your next career. So by this you can strengthen your CV, you can get some publication if your contribution is good, and at the same time you will be having interaction with PhD students, postdoc students, and also with supervisors. So in future this interaction may help you to get your next position, or maybe to get a recommendation letter, and it will be added advantage in your skill sets. So therefore internship is very important. And those who are in PhD. So for PhD, you must know about the literature search, because now on daily basis you have to do the literature for your research project, for your proposal, or maybe for your current scheme. So for that you should know how to use Scopus, SciFinder, Reaxys, depend on what kind of search engine is available in your institute. And now you should be perfect in using ChemDraw and MS Office like PowerPoint, Word, and Excel. And learn more about the analytical instrument as per your research area. Here I mentioned mostly about the organic, but if you are working in material, you will need TEM, SEM, and other instruments. So you should know what instruments I will need, and you should be well aware about its background theory and its operation. Then know about the laboratory safety and PPE, personal protective equipment. You should know about which groups are working in same area, and this is very important. When you start literature search, you should identify which groups are mostly publishing in this area, because sometimes if you do some work and suddenly you after 6 months you may find out that other group have published similar work. So to avoid such conflict, you should always keep following those who are closely working in your area. At the same time, this follow-up will also help you to do the internship in that particular group in near future, maybe within India and abroad, or maybe doing postdoc in near future. So therefore you should know who are the person working in that particular area. And you should learn how to write a research paper, how to write a proposal, how to write a review. There are many videos available on YouTube. At the same time, there are many workshops, seminars are conducted on this topic. And mostly in IITs and ICERs, they also have additional department to give such kind of coursework. And even in CSIR, we also do have such kind of department to help students. And also you should maintain your lab journal properly. This is very important, as Professor Shashidhar already mentioned about this thing. I will not go into detail, but this is very important point. And then participate in international conferences. Okay, so far I have mentioned for up to master national conference, and now at PhD level, as soon as you have good work or some good contribution, so this international conference may be within India or maybe outside. So I will suggest at least you should attend one international conference outside of India and few international conferences within India. And publish 1 or 2 good research papers within your first 2 years. This is very important if you are interested to do internship abroad, or if your guide is having some collaboration abroad. So you can go for 6 months to 1 year, or maybe up to 3 months, depend on your guide and collaborator, for the internship during your PhD. So you can work in US, Europe, or maybe within India while doing your PhD in the current institute. There are many fellowships available. So this will be added advantage in your CV, your skills, and also you can get very good publications out of that, because it's a collaborative approach. So do some part-time relevant courses because PhD duration is long, almost like 4 years. So my suggestion is whenever you have time, mostly on Saturday, Sunday, or during even during weekdays, we are not spending like that much time in laboratory. After doing experiment, you are just working on literature search or writing something. So if you have time, try to learn different language. Here I just mentioned German language, but you can even learn Arabic, maybe French, Spanish, any other language. If you're not good in English, try to join some English speaking class, learn that skills, and if possible, some management course which is relevant to your area like chemistry, and then intellectual property right course. So find out which courses are very relevant to my topic, like safety courses and so on. So this will be added advantage in your CV during your PhD, and improve your scientific contacts and friend circle in India and abroad. So whenever you attend conference, so whenever you do collaborations, whenever you are working in laboratory, do not only focus on your project. Always try to do some collaboration with your friend within your group as well. This approach will be helpful for your future interactions as well. So make sure that you have good friend circle, you have good scientific contacts. This will help you in near future. So how to do PhD in India? So next important point. So far we have checked the skills which are required. Now the next point is how to do the PhD. So mostly in big institute like IIT, CSIR, TIFR, they have different kind of requirement. So at least candidates should have their own fellowship in the form of NET or maybe in the form of DST Inspire fellowship. If the candidate is get qualified and if the project leader is having project, still candidate can join on project fellowship. However, all this candidate has to appear for the interview. If they qualify the interview, in spite of having fellowship, if they do not qualify, they cannot join the program. Only those who qualify the interview, they can join the PhD program of that institute. But at the same time, there are many central and state university and they have different requirements. So sometimes there is a PET exam. So there are two papers. First paper is for general knowledge. Second is research, and also it has a research aptitude test. And second is for subject, for that particular subject. Based on overall score, merit list will be displayed and candidate will call for interview. And after interview, there will be guide selection process. Now up to this stage, everything is same like IIT ISER. So at guide selection, many students get confused. How I will get a guide? Many are expecting that now institute should recommend me the suitable guide, and this is way we are going in little bit wrong direction, because now it's a job of the student and also the job of in some cases guide to select the best match. So as soon as you get result for your interview, now it's your duty to check who are the best suitable match for your research interest in that particular institute. If you are interested in organic, you should apply for the scientists who are working in organic chemistry. Not necessarily organic, you may find that there are people doing organic chemistry in material science group, maybe polymer science group, they are making monomer. So basically you should get an idea who are the most matching guide with my group. Like who are the most matching guide with my research interest, and then you should write proper email to them, and once you get the acceptance, then you should proceed for the admission process. This is the common process even in IIT, ISERs, and many other state and college universities, and even in CSIR. So entrance exam is only for getting an admission for PhD. However, your fellowship is totally depend on what kind of fellowship you have, NET, DST Inspire, or project fellowship. Even in some cases, if you have NET LS, so some cases if there is a project fellowship available, you may allow to do your PhD. Particularly at state level, if you are qualifying NET set exam, you are exempted from this process. You can directly appear for interview. So therefore, it's very important you should understand the overall admission process. And there are many fellowships available for doing PhD. Just a moment. Sorry for it.
Sandeep, Sandeep, Sandeep. काय म्हटलं तू डीजेच्या?
सस्टेन रिलीजचा होतं त्याचं फॉर्म्युलेशन. त्यामुळे डिझो करायचा असला तरी तो 6-7 तासांचाच करायला लागणार. कमीत कमी 6-7 तास. पण आता त्याच्याकडे ड्रगच नाही.
संदीप, एक मिनिट, काय आलं? हॅलो, एम आय ऑडिबल टू ऑल ऑफ यू?
Dr. Raju.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Raju.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sandeep?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sandeep?
Hello, am I audible? I'm Dr. Dinesh.
Dr. Dinesh. Okay, you are not audible in between. Okay.
From which slide, sir? Because even I realized like there was.
No, I was not watching. I just suddenly remember that you are not. Your voice is not audible. Okay. So you can.
Fellowship for PhD research.
Slide 68, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah. Share your screen also, which is not shared now. Okay.
Yes, yes. No, I'm.
Okay. Okay, Dinesh.
So can you see now, students?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was the last slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank God.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
I thought like I was mute for a long time. Anyway, so please switch off your microphones. Now I will mention about the fellowships. So we so far discussed about the skills required and how we can do the admission for the PhD program and so on. So for fellowships within India, there are many fellowships program available. So for JRF, you can get from 18,000 to 40,000 per month. And for SRF, ranging from 25,000 to 50,000, depending on whether you have net JRF, whether you are getting project fellowships and so on. So for CSIR, net JRF, every year they are conducting net exam. If you qualify as a net JRF, you can directly get the fellowship if you got the admission for PhD program. And in case if you are gold medalist of that particular subject in your university, then you can apply for DST Inspire Fellowship. For that, first you have to secure the admission. You have to apply, and once you get the DST Inspire Fellowship letter, you have to secure the PhD admission, and then you can activate that fellowship. Apart from that, if you get admission at state university, which is UGC recognized particularly, so there are some special assistant program for the university departments. So previously they used to award around 10 fellowships each year. So if there is such program, you can get some fellowship from, even if you don't have net JRF, if you qualify PET exam and if you register for PhD, still you can get UGC SAP fellowship. Then there are project-based fellowship. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Now please switch off your
You are
microphone.
audible.
Yeah. So project-based fellowship. So sometimes what happens if you qualify PET exam of that university or that institute, or you just have GATE exam, something like that. So there might be some faculty who is having government or industry-based projects. So if you join on that project, you have to work on project as well as for your PhD, and you will get fellowship out of that. But before that, you have to qualify that exam. And apart from that, there are some educational trust which may provide loan fellowship as well as regular fellowship, depend on what kind of criteria they have. One of the example is Tata Memorial Trust, and there is also Narottam Saxena Fellowship is there. And apart from that, UGC started some new scheme since last few years for SC/ST candidates. You can also, like if you are from SC/ST background, you can apply for this fellowship as soon as you get PhD admission. And also for OBC, there is UGC OBC fellowship is there. And women candidate also recently UGC launched one UGC Women Fellowship program. And apart from that, for minorities, there is another program where you can register for PhD and apply for this fellowship. However, the number of fellowship is quite less, but if your merit is good, definitely you can get this fellowship. At the end, suppose if you're not able to secure any of the fellowship, you already started your PhD in particular institute, and after 1 year your project is finished or some issue happened, and now you don't have any other source for your fellowship. So CSIR, SR is one of the another option. So if you have 2 years of PhD experience and you have published good publications, at least 1 or 2, then you can appear for CSIR SRF interview. And if you get selected, definitely then you can get CSIR SRF fellowship for next 3 years. Along with that, there are many industry sponsored PhD candidates. For example, if you join M.Sc and after M.Sc you join directly industry, you did not realize the importance of PhD, or maybe because of financial reasons something has happened and you spend 5 years, 10 years in industry, and suddenly for the promotion or maybe for any other reason, or even for getting higher qualification, you are interested to do PhD. So there are some industry, they have tie-up with the academic institute. This is one of the approach. So you have to find out whether my industry is having any such a tie-up. Otherwise, there are some schemes like Prime Minister Fellowship and other scheme where industry sponsor candidate can jointly apply with academic institute and they can get fellowship 50% from the government and 50% from industry. And also there are some good industries which are totally sponsoring PhD candidate, means they can do job and work in industry. However, they can register for PhD in other institute. So if you are industrially sponsored candidate, you have to check all this possibility. Apart from that, many new institutes, sometimes they offer institute fellowship. For example, some new IITs, they come up with the IIT fellowships for PhD and postdoc. So you have to check which institute is offering such fellowship. If you qualify that exam or if you have GET score or something like that, you can directly join a PhD based on institute fellowship. And along with that, especially for women scientists or maybe for women candidate, most of the time because of our culture or general problems with the women after marriage and so on. So there is a gap of 1 or 2 years in women candidate. And then there is an issue to continue the next career in academic or industry. So to help the women candidate, DST has launched very good schemes. So if you have career gap after master for 1 or 2 years or maybe more, you can apply for one of these scheme and you can even join for a PhD program. If you have career gap after PhD, then even you can apply for one of these scheme, like I think it's a PMA, and you can get up to 55,000 per month and 3 years project, maybe up to 25 lakh funding. In case if you're not interested to work in laboratory to do research or something like that, there is another scheme, Women's C scheme, where you have to qualify the exam, which is conducted all India level. And if you are in merit, you can get admission for this patent course. So at NCL campus, we have this CSIR division, which conduct one of this course. And this course is free of cost. Additionally, you will get 35,000 per month fellowship. And after 1 year, you will get postgraduate diploma in patent. And so based on this diploma, you can apply for jobs which are relevant to the patent. So there are many opportunities within India to get a fellowship. So fellowship is not an issue, only you have to find out exactly where you can apply, what are the requirements and so on. So for those candidates who are interested to do PhD abroad, so basically if you are interested for English speaking countries, US, UK, you should start preparation for GRE TOEFL, get the good score and then you should try for the application. And those who don't have good score or they don't want to give English language test, they can go for PhD in Germany, Italy, France, Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. There are many other countries. Some other countries, even they may require GRE TOEFL if their ranking is too high in that particular institutes. However, most of the institutes are there which may ask you to provide one certificate that your curriculum was in English. So this certificate you can easily get from your home university. And there are some university, they will ask you to complete their coursework, which is basically made up of one of the course from the language test. So if you qualify that one, you can directly continue your PhD in abroad country, in good institute as well. So after within India PhD, we saw how we can do PhD abroad, but at the same time, how you can get money to travel from this country to another country and how you can get the fellowship support. So there are many funding agencies. So generally for Germany, there is a DAT fellowship. Even for US, there is a Nehru Fulbright fellowship. There's a Mercury fellowship, Marie Curie fellowship for the Europe, and for Japan, JSPS. Similarly, at least each country having one fellowship or one program which can support such a candidate. But the competition is too high, so that's why your CV, along with your merit, extracurricular publications, courses, and other will impact for the selection process. Still, if you are not able to secure the fellowship, there are some university, they have their own fellowship, and along with that there are research guides who have industrially sponsored candidates, or they have industrial projects or maybe government projects, and they can support from their fund for your PhD, even for abroad. And also there are some Indian government tie-ups. Mostly these tie-ups are basically for internship program, and there might be some tie-up for the PhD and postdoc program as well. And along with that, there are private funding agencies. If you get admission in top institute, even you can apply for this private funding agencies for doing PhD. So now next, within India or abroad, it's fine, but how to do the PhD? What are the steps involved in PhD? So as soon as you clear the entrance exam, the next step is selection of a guide. As I said, selection of guide is very important step. And if you have previous experience of internship or any project, then it's easy for you to recognize who is the best suitable match for me. So first of all, you should check for the number of publications, impact factor, research area, and so on. However, there are young guides and there are old reputed guides. So based on your interest, both are good in a such a way that young guide has less publication but have more opportunity to publish more, but they will not, sometimes depend on individual criteria, they may publish rapidly in a small impact factor journal as well. However, old reputed guide, they will mostly focus on quality of publication. So number of publication might be less, but quality of publication might be good. So in both way, both there are benefits as well as there are merits, demerits. It's up to you. You have to check the background of that group, how much time is required, how is the nature of that group, how is the work culture, and so on. So these things you have to do before joining any group within India and abroad. So this is very important, that your personal interest should match your aim. For example, if you're interested in medicinal chemistry and if you're joining material chemistry group and then asking that guide, okay, can you please give me the topic for pharmaceutical synthesis, definitely will not give. Even if you give, you will be having a lot of trouble, because then you will be not having that expertise, instruments or something in that group. So therefore, you have to approach to the guide who is working in your area of interest. And then you have to show your interest, why you are interested, which kind of publication you read, which area you would like to explore, and so on. So same thing is for within India and abroad. Then selection of topic is the next thing. Most of the cases, your guide will help you to get your expertise, like your topic. But before that, you have to select a guide who is working in that particular area. Then once you have guide, you have topic, you will writing a research proposal. In next slide, we will see how to write a proposal. Then topic approval. Once your proposal is finalized, your topic approval will be done. Then your registration will be done. Then you will do the coursework, depend on the institute criteria, up to 1 year. And meanwhile, you will be continuing your research as well. So after doing actual research, your target will be to get publications, to get patents, and also to develop some technology or some new kind of reporting. So this will help you to get your PhD. So based on your project leader suggestion or your professor suggestion, if you satisfy the university criteria, if you publish papers and you have good research results, after a few years, depend on the criteria. Abroad, there is a 3 years criteria in some institute has 5 years criteria. Similarly, in India, we have 4 to 6 years criteria in many institutes. So depend on the individual guide and the individual institute, the criteria may vary, and you will submit the synopsis. And then after submission of synopsis, you will write the thesis, then thesis submission, then you will go for viva or final presentation, and finally degree will be awarded. And again, there is the next question. Now I should go for a job or for postdoctoral research. So my suggestion is, if you are interested in industry, up to maximum 1 year postdoc is okay. You should move to the industry as early as possible. However, if you're interested in big institutes like IIT, ICES, or if you want to settle outside, or if you want to come back to India and do some research, you should complete your journey of postdoctoral research, maybe minimum 3 years, and maximum I will not suggest more than 5 years. 3 years is more than enough in most of the cases, and you should start application as soon as you complete 3 years. And age limit, we have around 35 at many places, and 37 for scientist places, scientist positions. Next important point is how to write a research proposal. So whenever you are applying for PhD, or you are continuing PhD, or even you are going abroad and applying for fellowship, or you are joining an industry, you are proposing a new topic for research, or if you are working as a group leader and you want a funding from agency. So always you have to write a good proposal. And therefore there are some points which you should consider as a guideline. So you should have project title, introduction, then literature about who has did a contribution, what are their limitations, and how your new idea is different. Then objectives and overview of the project, research methodology, how you will be doing, which kind of methods and so on, what kind of instruments you will need, techniques. Then scope of the project, if you successfully complete this project, what are the important outcomes you will achieve. Then if possible, you can mention if there are project assistant required or involved, or maybe yourself, then qualification and appropriateness of the researcher. And at the last, risk assessment. If your project fails, how you can still achieve the good result. If your project still fails, what you can alternatives you can have. So that means you are well prepared. Then timeline and work plan for your proposal depend on the guideline of that fellowship, or maybe for that work. If it's 1 year fellowship, timeline will be for 1 year. If it's 5 years, then you have to write accordingly. Then budget, how much money you need for this one, if it's for funding. Then important is references should match here in introduction literature, and if you're pointing some references here. So this number should match, and you should use the recent references mostly. So far we saw how we can do the good study or good like particularly research in PhD and what are the basic skills required. However, now the important point, what are these future scope once you achieve your milestone in chemistry? Maybe by bachelor or by master or maybe by PhD level. So in industry there are different jobs. So you have jobs in industry, in pharmaceutical industry, chemical industry, like specialty chemical industry like BASF, Syngenta, or maybe paint industry, Asian Paints and so on, polymer industry like Reliance, then oil industry, textile and so on. But each industry, they have different departments like research and development, process research and development, plant production, quality control and quality assurance. So you can join job in any of the division based on your interest. Okay, if you're interested in analytical chemistry or maybe analysis, then quality control, quality assurance might be helpful. If you want to do some work on bulk scale or something like that, then plant production is best. And then if you are really interested to develop new product based research, or if you're interested to develop new technology, then research and development department is best. And then for scale up, process and research and development. So here, if you are a bachelor or maybe master, you may get like assistant position. And then for master, you can get associate or officer position, and salary may vary. If you're doing master from college or university or IIT, so it may vary from 2 lakh, 6 lakh to 10 lakh, depend. Then for PhD, salary may vary from 6 to 12 lakh for scientists within India. It may be higher or lower, but this is normal range. Then for group leader position, for postdoc, it may vary from 8 to 20 lakh. However, these are initial salaries. It may happen that the candidate with M.Sc, after a long time, he become a group leader and may have higher salary. We are talking about the initial range at the early stage. Apart from industry, there are many jobs in teaching. Apart from teaching, you can also do the research. So for that, colleges, universities, central universities, so salary may be around 50,000 or maybe more, and IIT, ISERs, NITs more than 1 lakh per annum. However, age limit is 35 in most of the cases, that you have to be take care before application. So you should start your application before age of 32. So overall process of selection generally takes 6 months to 1 year. In some cases, it may even take 2 years. So assistant professor, associate professor and professor, these are most designations we use in India. For assistant professor, PhD is the exemption. If you're net set, even you can join. However, in IITs and ISER, you need at least 3 years extra qualification, either as a postdoc or independent research experience to join as an assistant professor. And then depend on individual criteria of that institute. If it's UGC recognized or central institute, you may fulfill that criteria and get promoted to associate and full professor. So how is the journey for becoming a scientist in reputed national lab or for the IITs, ISERs, TIFR and top institute for as a faculty? So generally you start your journey. So in bachelor, it's important you should do some internship that will help you in your near future. At the same time in MSc, you should focus on qualifying NET exam and other exams. And then you should also try to get some internship. And after that, this overall internship experience will help you to select your PhD topic. And then based on your PhD qualification, publications and other collaborative work, even you can have internship like Newton Baba internship, JSPS, you can work abroad, and based on overall experience, you can go for a postdoc. And generally 3 years postdoc is required, and PhD you can see that it's very 4 to 5 years minimum. And then for postdoc, you can have many different fellowships, depend on country, depend on your research supervisor. And after spending minimum 3 years, I will suggest, generally you should start application for job as soon as you complete 2.5 years in a postdoc. So that until you get an interview, you will complete the 3 years. So generally, my personal suggestion is you should not do more than 4 to 5 years postdoc, because 3 years is expected. After 3 and 4 years, you should try to shift to some other regular job. And then based on research publication, postdoctoral experience, industry or teaching experience, your awards, your research plan, your performance in interview, you will get selected for faculty position in IIT, ISERs or TIFR. You will be appearing for interview, and then you may get opportunity as a scientist in DAE or CSIR laboratories. You should know what are the interview stages involved, because in CSIR we have just a single interview, we are screening, and then based on that we got selected. However, in IIT, ISER there are different stages. There are at least 2 interviews. So you should know how you should prepare for this interview. You will need a teaching presentation, you will need the research presentation, then you will need the teaching statement, research plan, research proposal, what you will be doing, future plan. So you should be ready at this postdoc level stage for your next application. And apart from this academic job and industry job, in government also there are other jobs. Like for example, DST, UGC, CSIR, they also have their independent organization and independent department. So for them also they need various positions to evaluate project, to implement new program, and they also have scientist positions or some other grade position, not doing actually research work, but they are overall managing the research or funding and so on. So even you can visit their website and apply for such kind of job. Apart from that, UPSC and also some state government agency, they are conducting interviews to get a job, or in some cases exam at bachelor, master or PhD level. Even you can join as a deputy director or director of that particular forensic lab, or maybe for that particular food or inspector, something like that. So there are many job opportunities available even at state level. And then to become a scientist, there are many other laboratories like DRDO, DAE, CSIR. So generally age limit is 32 for scientists, 37 for senior scientists, and accordingly you can plan. And if you're not interested that much in research or something like that, then the new area patent is also good. You can do some good courses in patent, and then you can join either in industry or maybe in government for evaluating patent or taking care of patent from that particular laboratory. So overall, there are plenty of opportunities available in every sector. We only need vision to identify them. So if you see, job is not at all an issue. First of all, you have to build your CV, you have to have the skills which are required, and then you should know exactly at what stage I should start the application to achieve my target. And that's why you should decide your target at early stage, and you should know what are the requirements are there to achieve my targets. So for getting job in India and abroad, particularly for industry people, those who are interested in industry, so you should use campus placement as a tool. So at IIT or state university or even in colleges, every year we have campus placement. So this is the best way to get a higher package. In case if you're not able to get a job, then the direct application to HR, and how you will get this HR email IDs from your seniors, from your friends, or maybe through your contacts. So directly write to the HR about the position, and along with that, you can apply to their official websites and then apply, register yourself and apply for the particular job. Along with that, there are other job.coms like Naukri, naturejob.com within India and abroad also. So you have to target which kind of particular is more suitable for your purpose. LinkedIn is also a good option, and then be in touch with your friends, seniors from industry, as well as all other possible contacts, so that you should know what are the vacancies are there in their industry. So it will be easy for you to get the contact from the HR and get your CV forwarded directly to the HR. Along with that, still if you are not able to get a job, there are consultancy, paid and non-paid, but I will not suggest the paid consultancy. You should go for the mostly non-paid consultancy. There are many good non-paid consultancy as well as a last option, and they can provide you a call for industrial jobs. And always you should have more than 3 to 4 plans for your career goals. So my plan A, if it fails, I will be joining plan B. If it fails, I will be joining plan C. So like that, if you have 3 to 4 plans in mind, you will be definitely having some job opportunity and future scope in chemistry. So in summary, this is my personal opinion. India salaries are a little bit less, but stability and family life is very good. In foreign countries, salaries are high. At the same time, you have to pay high income tax, expenses are high, and stability and family life need to be balanced in foreign country. India is good to start even own business after job experience, while abroad is good for earning more money, but for starting actual business, you have to do a lot of process to get the permissions and so on. So industry pay more money, but less stability than academics. Academics or government job, less money, but more stability. So this is my personal opinion. This may vary from person to person. So this is overall about future scope in research. Am I audible?
Yes,
sir.
Okay. So far we have seen overall journey. What are the basic skill required at bachelor, master, and PhD level? Which point you should focus? How you can do the PhD within India and abroad? What are different fellowships available? And then we also saw what are the job opportunities available in industry and academic, and also in government. Now I will show you the simple example how you can simplify your research. Because before starting any research project, we think that we have to do some extraordinary chemistry. However, in some cases, research is very simple. If you apply your basic knowledge of your master and bachelor degree, you can get the answer for some basic research issues. So for example, when I was working on artificial metal enzyme, I was following some literature. So this was the paper by Professor Thomas Ward. He got 90% enantiomer selectivity for getting this product. So 1,3-phenyl diallyl acetate undergo nucleophilic substitution kind of reaction and get single isomer 90%. And here they use biotin avidin technology. It's like a protein. They use it as a artificial metal enzyme. Then there was another report. They used DNA supported catalyst for doing similar kind of reaction. And however, if you see enantiomeric excess is just 23%. And we were using similar approach, and Professor Paul Kammer reported during that time no enantiomeric excess and 88% conversion. So all three reported different catalyst. However, I was surprised why in some cases they are getting less EE. Because if you see other papers, they have reported similar kind of catalyst, similar kind of arrangement for Diels-Alder reaction or maybe for some other reaction, and they are getting higher EE. But when they are doing 2G-TOS kind of nucleophilic substitution, they are getting low EE or no EE. However, in one case, there is high EE. So while searching for this answer, I worked a lot. Always I was getting sometime mixture, sometime pure product. Then I decided, okay, I will check basic chemistry of this particular starting material. So if you see, you have studied SN1 reaction, SN2, SN2 dash, and even 2G-TOS reaction in your curriculum. So if you apply basic knowledge, if you do the SN1 reaction, if your starting material, even if it's pure, you will get racemic mixture. If it's SN2, you will get inversion of configuration. If it's SN2 dash, you will get retention of configuration. And if it's 2G-TOS reaction, catalyzed by the catalyst only, you will get only one isomer as a product. So it's important to know what are the reaction conditions affecting on this reaction. Then what we realize, because we have limitation of water, so we have to think which mechanism is dominant in water. Is it carbocation or it is palladium pyalyl complex, which is the major step in asymmetric catalysis. So carbocation or palladium. So then we come up with the final conclusion. When there is no catalyst, okay, it undergo SN1 reaction. You already studied ester hydrolysis in organic chemistry. So there are different kind of ester hydrolysis. Acyl oxygen bond cleavage. When it cleave here, we call acyl oxygen bond cleavage. When it cleave here, we call alkyl oxygen bond cleavage. So this is rare example of alkyl oxygen bond cleavage. You will cleave this bond here, so we will form the carbocation because there is a water, 50 degrees Celsius temperature is there. So ultimately, it will form carbocation, and as soon as nucleophile is there, it will directly attack from both sides, and you get almost more than 90% yield, but with no EE. When you have palladium catalyst, if the catalyst amount is little bit high, the speed of reaction is quite faster compared to this reaction. It requires 24 hours, but this reaction happens within few minutes or few hours depending on catalyst loading. So if your catalyst is higher, you can get 94 enantiomeric excess. So we found out the answer. The main reason optimization was catalyst was an issue. So if you use proper optimization, you can achieve the higher EE. Okay. So these both results we have published in Green Chemistry, which is almost 9 impact factor journal, and these are under publication process. You see, just by simple observation, we come up with the 2 publications, and this was not our main idea. Actually, main idea was to check artificial metal enzyme for asymmetric catalysis. So that main result we will get some time later. However, initially we found this important observation which need to be reported so that other researchers should not feel same issue. So here you see almost 98% conversion if there is no catalyst. As soon as you decrease the catalyst, enantiomeric excess will decrease. Okay. And to develop the alternative, then we decided, can we use the nucleophile which will only be generated in presence of palladium, so that we can create a chiral kind of catalyst and which will react with sodium tetraphenyl borate, and that nucleophile will selectively add even if it's a carbocation. So that's how we started this work. And if you see overall a simple concept, starting with the basic chemistry of SN1 reaction and ester hydrolysis, we found out the answer for this major issue. So similarly, whenever you are doing your chemistry, always you should apply your basic knowledge for interpretation of mechanism, interpretation of application of that particular reaction, how you can use that reaction for different products and so on. Okay. So at last, I would like to say, life में सबसे बड़ा risk होता है, कोई risk न लेना. So whenever you get a chance, take a risk. You will definitely achieve something out of it. So thank you very much for listening me carefully for such a long time. It's almost like around 2 hours. So thanks a lot. So this was the last slide. In case if you still have any doubts, you can contact me. This is my email ID, dinesh1.sawant@gmail.com. Please do not write on my CSR email ID. Write on this personal email ID so I can give answers to your queries on Saturday and Sunday.
Dinesh,
and now if you have any question.
Dinesh, Dr.
Yes,
Dinesh.
Yes. Sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Dr. Dinesh, there are some questions in the chat box. Can you answer those?
Yes, I will stop sharing screen and I will check.
You go to the chat box. There are some questions, and then just read one by one. And if the students want to ask any question, they can raise their hands also. Okay, if they haven't put the questions in the chat box, they can raise their hands and speak one by one. Okay. So I think M.Sc Biotech. I don't know what's the name of the M.Sc Biotech. What is the name of the student?
Sir.
Hey, you should write your name properly. You know, what is this M.Sc Biotech Part 1? Your name should be there, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can ask the question. Go ahead.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Sir, actually, I have two questions. One is, what is the scope and career opportunities in biochemistry? And what is the difference in biochemistry and chemistry in perspective of jobs? Means what type of job a biochemistry student will get and what type of job a chemistry student will get?
Okay. So basically, like if you see in perspective of chemistry or biochemistry, even nowadays, like there are many interdisciplinary jobs are available, and it depends on which area you are interested in. For example, in pharmaceutical industry, always they have different division even for biology. So there they need scientists who are working in biochemistry as well. Apart from that, there are specially some industries which are focusing on mostly on biology or biological concept. For example, Serum Institute, it's one of the example because we are hearing this name through the news channel. So like those institutes which are more specialized on like biotechnology based product or biochemistry, definitely there you can have a lot of job application. And point of academic career, definitely like it's an equal opportunity. So if you join any IIT, any ICER or CSR laboratory, so there also we have here within NCL also we have biological science division, and apart from that there are separate CSR laboratories also there where after your education you can join as a scientist. Rather than that, even if you go outside, this boundary of like between the different disciplines is little bit vanished, and even as a chemist you can work in biochemistry area if you're interested, and there are many industries which can allow you such kind of interdisciplinary work. And at the same time, there are many kind of academic jobs are also available along with biochemistry. For example, you can work in area of patent, basically which deals with not only chemistry, but biochemistry kind of product. So starting from industry, similarly in India, you have pharmaceutical industry, biotechnology based industry, and in academic, there is no such major discrimination between different sciences because we have separate division for that particular subject. So as such, there will be equivalent scope for any subject. So that's why I said you should select subject of your interest, not as per the scope. So if your subject knowledge is clear, if your basics are there, and if you have good qualification, definitely you can achieve your target.
Yes. Madhavi, you want to ask anything?
This is Madhavi Kriti. I am in M.Sc second year and my specialization is in organic chemistry. Sir, first I would thank
Madhavi, you're not very audible. Can you?
Or otherwise, can you please
wait, sir. Wait.
Say some little loudly. Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, you are audible. Please speak.
Hello?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, sir. I am Madhavi Kriti from M.Sc second year. My specialization is in organic chemistry. So first, I would like to thank you for conducting such an informative session. That is really very helpful for we like student. Sir, I am planning to do PhD from abroad. And I am like shortlisting some of the countries and institutions. Sir, I was looking for the Singapore. Sir, for that, like I have get information or just heard from the friends that gate score is also valid for institutes in Singapore. So is it really true?
No, this is very specific question because here idea was to give overall view of the countries. So for that actually you have to check because sometime what happened, each institute they have different criteria. So generally if you talk about Singapore, even they need some English language test like IELTS or GRE. Okay. So first of all, what you should do, check the each website, like for each institute, they have website for the students. So you can get most of the information from that website. Still, if you are not able to get answer, so they have given some email IDs. So you should write to them and ask particular questions. So definitely you will get all the details. And generally, to find about the position, for PhD particularly, most of the time it depend on guide outside. So if your guide is ready, for example, your guide will definitely suggest you a few more options. And also he will ask you what are the different kind of fellowships available through which you can join his group. So always my suggestion is whenever you are applying abroad, you should be ready with this particular thing that you should have your CV, research summary, everything ready, and you should write proper email. And then you should identify which are the top institute in that country, visit their departments, check who are the faculties working in that area, and then write personalized email to that particular faculty. And if they have the position and if they feel that your CV is competitive, definitely you will be having positive reply. And based on that, even guide will suggest you, okay, these are the fellowships available in our institute. You can apply for that. And there might be some other fellowships from India as well, where you can apply through that funding agency. So getting admission sometime, I mean, most of the time abroad may depend on guides. But however, in some other countries, it's like in US and other places, it basically depend on institute. You have to apply for that institute program. If you get selected, then you will get admission for the PhD. So it will vary from country to country. So therefore, this specific question I cannot answer exactly whether get score will be valid or not. You have to check that particular website and get the information.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Divya, you want to ask something? Divya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So I
go ahead.
wanted to ask you that I'm doing M.Sc in analytical chemistry. So what are the research interests, like research topics in analytical chemistry or something like that? And even I wanted to ask you about if I want to do postdoc in some in suppose Germany. So after I get a fellowship or after I apply for a fellowship, do I need to pay any fees or is there any fees for that postdoctoral or something?
No, no. Generally, in postdoc, you don't need to pay anything. Instead, you will get some financial support. Even you can save some money. So postdoc is different
Okay.
story. Okay, so whenever there is a fellowship, that means they will take care of your day-to-day expenses. And in some cases, like if there is admission fee, even that will be taken care of. So that's why this fellowship concept is there to support you financially in a broad country. However, there are also like prestigious fellowships which need some extra qualification and so on. So you may get more money if you get Humboldt Fellowship or JSPS, something like that. However, apart from that, each country they have like institute fellowship as well as sometimes you may have some industrial postdoc fellowships. So fellowships are not at all issue. You don't need to pay a single rupees from your pocket. And I will never ever suggest that you should pay something for doing your PhD and postdoc.
Okay, sir. So I wanted to ask you about superconductors. Like I have interest in researching on superconductors. So how should I proceed with that?
Sorry, I was not getting that point. Exactly what you mentioned.
I have interest in doing research on superconductors.
Okay.
Superconductors. So how should I proceed with that?
So it's very easy. Once you decided that even if you have done analytical chemistry, it's fine. So for that, what you can do, first of all, I will suggest do some research internship because sometimes we heard this subject like, okay, this is new area or something like that, and we develop interest based upon what we heard. But when it comes to the actual working,
अभी तक क्लियर नहीं हो.
my suggestion is first, if you have that enough time, if you're an MSc second year student and still there is some time, you should try to do internship in that particular area. Search who are the groups working in semiconductors in CSIR laboratory, in IIT and ISR. Apply to these groups for internship. do 2 to 3 months internship. Even if you want to do like 1 month internship is more than enough for you to understand that subject very well. And still, if you are interested, then for the next part, as soon as you qualify your NET exam, or maybe if you have your own fellowship, then you can start applying to that particular faculties who are working in that area. So basically, it's very important first to identify who are the faculty in that particular institute working in this area. Make a list of this faculty. For example, in NCR, NCL we have different departments like organic division, catalysis division, physical and material science division. So identify who are the person working in that division, and then write personalized email to that particular faculty. And if you still feel that even if your background is analytical and you are really interested, that interest you can show in terms of doing internship, that you have done some earlier part, well and good, and even some faculty may even consider you directly. So writing and proper email is a key for getting PhD position of your interest, and knowing the people who are working in that area either within India and abroad. So this overall thing has to done by yourself. However, you can take help of your seniors or friends, those who are already working in that particular area. Because if somebody is doing PhD and postdoc, generally they know who are the people working on similar topic in India. So that may be first point of contact. And second, a random search on various institutes. So you can visit their website, go to the particular department and check faculty interest. And from faculty interest, you can identify who are the person working on semiconductors.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Actually, I see there are many other questions in chat box, but
sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Dinesh from Odisha. I want to know, sir, how can we get the link for international conference related to our subjects?
Okay, for international conference, once you have some work, actually you cannot go directly just to participate. Within India, definitely you can participate. There are two kinds of international conference I will suggest. First, which are conducted within India. Second, those who are conducted abroad. So within India, generally, you don't need to pay that much fees as a student candidate. But if you go abroad, you have to pay travel expenses and other things. For that, you have to apply for funding agency. And funding agency will give you funding only if you have good research publication or some research output, or if you are applying from some good institute. So within India, first of all, I will suggest you can check from the websites. Generally, there are many other websites which give list of the international conferences conducted in that particular country. So international conference in organic chemistry in India. So you can get list generally from that website. Apart from that, you can check with the research students who are already working PhD in your institute or from your friend circle. So generally they know about which are the famous conferences and when this conference will be conducted. And overall, you have to apply for such conference at least 3 to 6 months before, because they will start registration a little bit early to know exact number of participants. So it may happen that you get a link and that registration process is already over. So if you want to attend any conference within India, make sure that you start that process at least 3 to 6 months before. So you can know which conferences are there. And for abroad also, there are websites. You can easily check which are the famous conferences for that particular subject. And you will get all the details as soon as you click on that website. How you should register, how much is the registration fee, how about the accommodation, and so on. So apart from that, first of all, I will suggest if you're a master's student, you should try to attend the conference which is nearby to you, within your college or maybe within your university. Once you register for PhD, or if you have some output from M.Sc research, then you should go for an international conference within a country. So that will help you. And also, if you have result, you should also participate as a presenter. So there are two types of presentation, like oral presentation and poster presentation. If you get selected, that will be a good practice. And once you are comfortable with these things, then only apply for international conference. And for international conference, if your poster or paper gets selected, you can apply for funding agency like DST, CSIR, UGC. They also give funding up to 1 lakh or some 50,000 rupees, or depend on how much cost it will be for traveling and other expenses. So this money will be paid by the government if you get selected. Any confusion?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this lecture for us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Doctor. This is Amra. Thank you so much for your lecture, and I am in MSc final year. I wanted to inquire that how can we get summer internships abroad, like in Germany, in our masters? Like, what is the portal,
So right
or
now,
when should I start the application, or what is the procedure?
yeah, for that generally each country has different kind of funding agency. Getting internship is easy. As soon as you apply to the faculty, there might be some faculty who will be ready to accept your application. But then the next point is about money. Who will support your research internship? So generally, if you're applying from India, it may be difficult to get direct support from the faculty for internship, I'm saying. So that's why you have to plan at least 1 year ahead. For example, if you're in MSc first year and then you are planning to do internship after your second year or maybe during your second year, because there are many fellowships available. For example, DAT fellowship, they provide funding for doing internship. So for that, first of all, you have to first select the fellowship. Okay, I want to apply for Germany, or then I have to apply for US. For US, there is a Nehru Fulbright fellowship. Once you select the fellowship, check their selection criteria, check their eligibility criteria, and everywhere you will see there is a common point. You will need host statement letter or acceptance letter from the host professor. You will need recommendation letter from your institute principal, HOD, or maybe from your supervisor. And third important point is you will need one research proposal. And this proposal, how you will write, first of all, you will find the funding agency. Okay, I want to apply for that scholarship, or I want to apply for Nehru Fulbright scholarship. Then you will write email to the faculties in US for Nehru Fulbright, for example. And then you will check who are the faculty working in my area or my area of interest for medicinal chemistry. Then top institute in US. Already if you know somebody, that will be well and good. Then there are good chances to get a positive reply. So then if it may happen that 90% faculty will say we don't have position or something like that. But at least 2 to 10% will say, okay, yes, you can apply for this fellowship. I will support your application. As soon as you get such a reply from the faculty, it may happen that you may get reply within first application, or maybe you may not get reply even after 100 application. So you have to keep on trying until you get a positive reply. If you get 4 to 5 positive reply from faculty, then you have to select a best suitable match based on your research interest, publication record, and so on. And politely you have to also inform others that you are applying with some other different professor. And then you will write research proposal that supervisor will suggest, okay, you should write proposal on so and so topic. And then he will help you to correct your proposal. So proposal you have to write by yourself. Once your proposal is ready, he will provide you the host statement. Generally, it will take minimum 1 month to finalize your proposal. Once you have host statement, you have proposal, then you will apply for that funding agency. For example, Nehru Fulbright. So they have specific call, specific deadline. So before that, your document should be ready. And then you will get recommendation letter, you will submit your application, and along with that there are some question answers about institute, about the culture, about the program and science vision, something like that. So make sure that you already have a template for that form, you have filled all the information, and then it will be easy to apply. And after application, it may take 6 months minimum, okay? Because many people will apply from the country, they will do the shortlisting, and if you get shortlisted, there will be interview. In some cases, there may be direct selection. So in that, generally we have interview, and for Nehru Fulbright and other, they may have direct approach as well. So once you have interview or once you get shortlisted, there will be some training program before moving to that country. So that may take 2 to 3 months. So overall, this process from starting application to the doing internship may take minimum 6 months to 1 year. So this is normal approach when you are applying for funding agency. However, there might be some tie-up between your research supervisor, or if you're doing some master as a research student and with other countries. So in that case, from project fund and so, your support may be provided by your faculty. So that is rare possibility, but most of the time we are dependent on fellowship. So make sure that those who are interested to do research internship abroad, they should plan at least 1 year ahead. If you're planning for internship for MSc second year, you should start doing the process from first year onwards. So that by that time, all the documents will be ready, results will be out. It may happen that you may not get selected. So it's better to apply for 2 to 3 different fellowships. Apart from that, within India also we have summer research training program. So all the national academies, we have 3 science academies, 1 engineering academy. So they have come up with summer research internship program. For that they provide 5 to 10,000 per month fellowship. So it's added award in CV as well. So if you get selected, You can do internship up to few months to 1 year, depend on that particular program, and you can join IIT, ISIR, CSIR laboratories. Even each institute, they may have some different summer training programs or research internship program for within India application. I hope you got an answer for your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Prakash Bansode, sir. I just have completed my PhD and I wish to complete postdoc from abroad. So what could I do, sir?
Okay. So this is very good question.
I have 15 publications.
Yeah, that was the next
I have 15
point.
publications.
Okay. And generally when you are applying for postdoc, so it's very, very important that you should have some different strategies, because getting postdoc nowadays is a little bit tough. It's possible, but not that much easy, because what you have to do, you have to plan your strategy. At least once you complete your PhD, so you should ask your guide before submission of thesis itself, and you should start application. So there are two approaches. First, there are many fellowships. For example, Humboldt Fellowship, like you have 15 publication. So if you have more than 10 publication, there is a good chance that you may get selected for some fellowship. So there is a Humboldt Foundation for Germany, Humboldt Foundation Fellowship for Germany. Similarly, each country, they have different fellowship. For example, in Japan, they have JSPS Postdoctoral Fellowship. For Canada, they have Batting Fellowship. For US, they have Nehru Fulbright Fellowship. So first you have to identify what are the different fellowships available, and then try to get a research supervisor in that particular country. As soon as you get at least 2 to 3 different positive reply, you should start application process. As I said, even in this case, it may take 6 months to 1 year, and there is no assurity that you will get the award. So this is the first approach. And meanwhile, you should start a regular application. So there are many websites. So check this website, and already through your research during PhD, you come across a relevant name in your particular area. So write personalized email to those faculty that I'm interested to do postdoctoral research in your group in so and so topic. So this is the second approach, random application, but at the same time with specific mail about why you are interested, what kind of work you have done, how it's matching with that group, and what are your future plans for contribution and so on. And after that, there is a third personalized approach. If you know already some friends who are doing postdoctoral research abroad, or some faculty or your research supervisor, so there might be good chance if in their contact there is some vacancy, so you may get postdoctoral position as soon as possible. And apart from that, attending international conferences, national conferences where these people who are relevant to your topic are coming is very important. You should write email to that particular faculty before you are attending that conference, that I have seen your profile and so on, you are coming for this conference, I'll be happy to interact with you. If he give you time for meeting, meet him personally and mention that you are interested for postdoctoral research. So this personal interaction may help you to get postdoctoral position easily. So that's why conference is one of the point of contact. And personally, I got 2 of my offer from conference with personal interaction. So first approach, like you have to apply for fellowship, it may take time. Second approach, you have to identify who are the top professors in your area, or the professors who are working in that particular area in different countries. Write personalized email. Third, through your contacts, those who are already doing postdocs, those who are already come back from postdoc working in industry, your research supervisor or your previous alumni. And then last, like through conferences and through some personal interaction. And at the last, you can join some job, because it's also very important. You should not waste your time, because this experience will be counted in near future. So you can join either industry job, or maybe you can try within India also first. So you can do 1 year postdoctoral research in India. By that time, you will get the offer, and generally minimum it will take 6 months. Even if you get offer today, and the postdoctoral position to get the visa and do the formalities, degree attestation, you will be spending 6 months. So my suggestion is, first you should join some position within India, and by that 1 year or 6 months, you will be having next offer ready, and then you should move abroad. So that will be good approach. If you get position within your like first month of application, then it's fine. You don't need to join any job or anything. You can go directly. But however, there is a rare possibility. So always make a strategy and then decide how you should proceed. Okay. So my suggestion is, first year postdoc generally it's tough, but as soon as you get your first year postdoc abroad, second postdoc it's very easy. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for useful information.
Welcome, Dr. Bansu. And for postdoc, it's also important. You should plan postdoc in such a way that you should not flow in the direction of postdocs. Because even myself, I have done 6 years of postdoc, and I realized it was not necessary to spend more than 4 years after some time. So it's also very important. You should make your target fixed that after I will be doing maximum 3 to 4 year postdoc. I will try for prestigious fellowship, maybe 1 or 2, and then within this 4 year I will start my application for regular jobs. This is very important. Otherwise, what will happen after a few years of postdoc, you may come across that you are about to cross 35 years. Okay, so 35 years is the age limit if you are planning to come back to the India. So before that, you have to finish your 3 years postdoc and you should start application. And another thing is very important. At the time of like coming back, you should also know what are the different fellowships available. Either before you get your permanent position, for example, Ramanujan, Ramalinga Swami, Inspire, and how to get the host support for that fellowship. Because generally what happened, people suddenly start applying for a Ramanujan fellowship and then nobody is replying to their email. No HOD is interested to support their application. And before such application, what you should do, if you are working abroad as a postdoc, whenever you plan come back to India, write mail to the HODs of different IIT, ISR, CSIR lab that I will be visiting India and I'm interested to give invited talk. So once you have this invited talk, you will be having personal interaction, you will develop a contact, and this contact you can use as a reference to get a host statement for your Ramanujan, Ramalinga Swami, or maybe for Inspire Fellowship in future. So this strategy is very important. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Sir, I'm
Dilip.
Raghavendra and doing Master of Science in ICT, Mumbai. And
Okay.
sir, my area of interest is biochemistry, and sir, want to do my PhD from abroad. So, sir, and I don't have any publications as of now, sir. And so, sir, for doing PhD in abroad, sir, is there any must criteria that we must possess? We must have publications in our masters.
No, it's not necessary, but if you have publication, that may make your CV more competitive and that will increase your chances. However, if you have done master course from reputed institute like IIT, ICT, CSIR laboratories, so outside scientists already know that they are doing very good work. They have very strong curriculum. So there might be good chance, even if you have good GRE score. So particularly if you target US, it's basically depend on your English language test as well. So if you have definitely good score, if you see the ICT, there are many people who are going in US without having any publication, even after bachelor and master. So there will be no such issue. However, if you plan for fellowship, okay, so in that case, that may affect because there will be many candidates from IIT or some other institute, they will be having some publications. So if you compare as a judge, then definitely there will be added advantage for the person who is having some extra qualification apart from the curriculum. But for direct PhD application, as such, there might not be that much issue. It may take a little bit of more time. Apart from US also, within Europe also, you can get the direct admission. That will be not an issue, but you have to start a little bit early. You should not start after finishing your master. Then you will lose your 1 year.
Okay, sir. Currently, I'm in second year, sir. So
this is good time. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And if you're planning for a language test exam, then you should appear as, if you're well prepared, then you should appear and give this test. So this score will be helpful. Even if you're applying for non-English speaking countries, so there will be some advantage for this test languages.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any other question?
There are some questions in the chat box, but I think the student can ask you by email or something. Okay, otherwise it will go on. There are 5 to 10 questions in the chat box, so you see whether if you want to take it or.
Yeah, no, I will suggest like if it will be easy for me because within chat box also some questions may repeat again and again. So if they send me an email, that will be very easy. So my email ID is dinesh1.sawant@gmail.com. Even you can find on my website. So please do not write to my official mail ID. Write to my personal mail ID, then it will be easy for me to segregate this email. And definitely I will reply to each and every email on Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Let's thank Dr. Sawant for very informative and very important lecture. So I request all of you to unmute your mic and simply Just have a clap.
Thank you for participating for giving me the ability to 2 hours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dinesh.
Thank you, Dr. for giving this opportunity to present this topic.
Thank you. Thank you. So tomorrow there is a lecture. You please attend at 11 a.m. Okay, by biosafety, on biosafety something. Okay then, Dr. Dinesh, thank you very much.